earth. So I think they're pretty pissed off because a minute ago they were relieved that he was officially gone. And right now I think the room is pretty pissed off. And I think this can galvanize. Remember, when bad things happen, you'll find out who's with you. And I've been in the room with Pat where in the industry we were in, we had to find out who was with us. Who was with us, which carriers were with us, which people were supporting us, because things happen. Economies come, economies go, and the industries make decisions. It's not personal, but you got to find out who's there. And I think what's going on right now, I think he's about to find out who is absolutely with him. I think Bessent is, I think Rubio is, I think Howard is. I think there's relieved people, but that are really frustrated that it went down this way.
Okay,
and there's a jet taking off. Right,
no, it's all good. Go ahead.
What was the question?
No, Brandon. So why don't you do this, Brandon? Rob, can you play the one clip Brandon has about Whitney Webb? You know which one I'm talking about. This one right here. So Whitney Webb, we've had her on a couple times. She's written some of the most interesting books that talks about technocracy. She doesn't even live in the States, but some of the stuff she says gets picked up, and it's very, very interesting. And when you do some research, what is in this clip here, Brandon?
So this is the first time I've ever heard Epstein be associated with Elon Musk. She says something I've never heard before about a reason why the Justice Department might not have been releasing certain things about Epstein and JP Morgan that were subpoenaed.
This revelation raises alarms about the intertwining of powerful figures. Musk's alleged connections to Epstein echo deeper societal issues, emphasizing the need for transparency among elites. The audience must grapple with the uncomfortable reality that those in power often operate under veils of secrecy.
Okay, go for it, Rob.
Virgin Islands, because there was this case involving the U.S. Virgin Islands and JP Morgan as it related to Epstein. And that case got settled out of court, so it didn't go to trial. But I believe those documents would be very, very, very telling. But I would argue the reason they won't come out is because one of the people subpoenaed as part of that investigation was Elon Musk.
Oh, wow.
He wasn't necessarily accused of wrongdoing, but was subpoenaed because he was suspected of having had some sort of involvement with Epstein and JP Morgan. And there are allegations, of course, not really allegations, but, it was reported, before Musk was closely affiliated with Trump that Epstein had been advising Tesla and was part of this effort in 2018 to take Tesla private with Gulf oil money or Saudi money. And at the time, Epstein was advising Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince of Saudi Arabia, and was also known to have a close relationship with the elite families of the United Arab Emirates, and also Kuwait, and I think Bahrain as well. So perhaps they don't want to have that really be explored at this point. But some of the other figures that were...
Was she talking about Epstein here? All those people, all those relationships?
Epstein
and
Elon
Musk.
as
She
well.
was saying that Epstein was advising Musk on how to take Tesla private.
But all those other relationships, Mohammed bin Salman, Bahrain.
Epstein was like,
Jesus, this guy Epstein goes deep.
Yeah, he does.
Well, yeah, if he's tied with the intelligence networks. But I think, so genuinely, who do you think is more powerful though between the two of them right now? Because I think if Elon's gonna be on attack mode, Trump has a small window to knock Musk down a bunch of pegs because Musk gets like 30% of Tesla revenue from China and a lot of money from government contracts. So I wonder what damage could Trump do right now if Trump really wants to go on the offensive and commits to that and tries to take a degree of power away from Musk. Because I mean, if Musk is going to try to use his power like this, then that's not a healthy thing for America.
So that's not a healthy thing for what?
For America. So I'm saying Trump right now has a window to knock Musk down a bunch of pegs. With like 30% of Tesla revenue comes from China. A huge amount of his money comes from government contracts from America. So Trump could do a lot to severely hurt Tesla right now.
The stakes are sky high as Trump holds the cards that could undermine Musk's empire. This dynamic not only showcases the volatility of their relationship, but also reflects the broader implications of corporate interests clashing with political power. It's a game of chess where the outcome could reshape the political landscape.
If you want, because you could almost take this as a threat to national security, where this guy's trying to undermine the president. And believe me, I'm mad at both of them for separate things, but you have to be patriotic on the side of the president when some.
Yeah, so here's President Trump. I don't mind Elon turning against me, but he should have done it so months ago. This is one of the greatest bills ever presented to Congress. It's a record cut in expenses, $1.6 trillion, and the biggest tax cut ever given. If this bill doesn't pass, there will be a 68% tax increase and things far worse than that. I didn't create this mess. I'm just here to fix it. This puts our country on a path of greatness. Make America great again. So now he says that. But a part of this that to me is what would cause an Elon to go nuclear?
I don't think it's about the bill. It's way too extreme for the bill.
It can't be. No. What would make Elon go nuclear?
The tension escalates as Musk hints at deeper motivations behind his feud with Trump. Speculation about Musk's potential retaliation unveils a dangerous power struggle, illustrating the fragility of alliances among the elite. This conflict underscores the hypocrisy of personal vendettas overshadowing national interests.
What? You think the black eye is just like, what would make, for some, no, I'm being actually serious with you. What would make Elon go nuclear? It has to be something that was such a humiliating thing for you to go to this levels. And then there had to be a couple calls behind closed doors to make sure he knows he has some other people with him before he goes nuclear. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't have the other guys that are with you to go nuclear, I don't know. And by the way, you know what you learned here for a fact? That if you talk to him, just so you know, he can at any time turn against you.
Yeah. But what he's essentially saying, though, is that, like, let's say what he's saying is true. He's essentially saying he's okay with being friends with a president who is on the Epstein list if he's doing everything that he wants him to do. But the moment that he doesn't do everything he wants him to do, then he is not okay with that anymore. So, if that were true, how does that make him look? He's being selective with when it is a big deal to him and when it's not a big deal to him.
Why do so many people agree with him?
Well, I think I think there is some truth that Trump did maybe blackmail people. You could say allegedly to that. He bought a hotel that was used for blackmail in the past. He bought a yacht that was used for blackmail in the past. His mentor blackmailed a lot of people. But that doesn't mean he did the things that the people on the Epstein list did. That's an entirely different thing that just makes him associate with that world. So I think some people conflate those two things, and some people are upset with Trump with the lack of aggressiveness that he's had. He came in like he was going to disrupt the whole establishment, get rid of the deep state, this and that. But he's being very civil, and that's probably what I'm most frustrated with him about. Is he's being too civil, and he's not coming down hard on the people who try to take him out and the people that have this administrative state in place.
Yeah, I was listening to a guy earlier saying the fact that the only choice Trump has right now, he has to come super, super hard on Musk because Musk is not going to stop.
Right.
He won't stop.
And he has a window. He has a window to do it.
To him?
To Musk.
What could he do to him?
Oh, he could make it so that Musk can't send cars to China, or at least make it not profitable, cut all the government contracts. I mean, that's the thing, though. Musk has a degree of leverage, too, because especially with Starlink. Starlink is super important to the military. A lot of his other stuff has military applications. Palantir is tight with Elon, so they have a lot of military applications too. So these tech guys, the PayPal mafia, the technocracy guys, they're really tied in and entrenched with the military. So that's where the private sector, it starts to get all right, does the military have more power, or do the contractors have more power?
Yeah, but listen, on behalf of America, Elon Musk and Donald Trump, keep your personal issues out of America becoming great again. We are here in America, people are trying to put food on their plate. They're trying to raise their kids. They're trying to make money, have a job, have a healthy lifestyle, do everything we want to do. We're not here to watch this soap opera of days of our lives with the richest man in the world and most powerful man in the world. We're not here for that.
Do you think Elon wants to make America great again, though? Do you think he cares about that at all?
I think if you're using what Elon Musk set out to do, I think the number one thing on his agenda was killing the woke mind virus. And I looked at him aligning with Trump as who's against woke? Trump, I'm going with him. I think there's a very good indication that Elon had never voted for Trump in the past. I think he was more of a Democrat. I think a lot of people were, Joe Rogan, that camp. I think they were a lot of people switched over. I also think that Trump is very vindictive, and I think that Elon is very childish. And I thought this would go at least a year. I mean, did anybody have their money? This was ending in June.
Yeah.
Did you see that coming? But by the way, here's a couple of things to consider, just to kind of open up a different couple conversations. There was always things I was looking at that I was like, that's a weird relationship. Why don't those guys get along? What's this all about? Okay. Sam Altman and OpenAI. Elon Musk hates that guy.
Yeah.
Hates that guy. Trump would bring him around all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's an awkward situation. All right. I don't know what kind of conversations are happening. I don't know what's going on there. Number two, Doge. What happened with Vivek? What happened there? In my opinion, Vivek should have been the one running Doge. Elon could have been an advisor, could have been around. He's already running a dozen other companies, impregnating a half a dozen women. Like, you need another job next to Trump? All right, here's another one for you.
Open that up, will you?
Hold on, let me just finish this up.
No.
Hold on.
Your point deserves
we'll
for you to
we'll
follow
get
it up, because we processed deeply, and you did on this podcast. You did, about how that tweet was so hit the wrong way, Vivek's tweet, that so much weight and heat came against him that he had to step back.
Correct. And part two to that, and I would like to revisit that with you, was that was on the heels of the whole H-1B visa situation. Vivek weighed in, Steve Bannon weighed in. It basically, MAGA 1.0 and MAGA 2.0 are starting to feud.
And Vivek's
so what happened
comment
with
was
that?
America not quite exceptionalism.
Yeah, because Vivek, I don't know, kind of speaks the truth. Some people are just lame as hell and they're entitled. The Epstein situation, okay, we talked about that. Makes a lot of sense why Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are kind of keeping mums the word. So, and this big, beautiful bill. By the way, who in the administration did we actually hear of Elon feuding with? Do you remember who it was? Well, it was Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. Do you remember that? So Elon's in here having issues with key components of the administration. And it was sort of a lipstick on a pig for $250 million. And now we're basically seeing what happens. And then here's the last thing. What was the relationship with Susie Wiles? Correct. Chief of Staff.
Yeah, this from April, inside Elon Musk's dangerous battles with Trump's ice maiden. And in it, they talk about Susie Wiles, Chief of Staff.
This goes back to my initial point. Careful who gives you money. Elon basically gave $250 million, bought his way into the White House, him and his kids, piggybacking over here. And now he has the audacity to take down, or at least attempt to take down, the President of the United States. Now,
in this explosive segment, we witnessed how the feud between Elon Musk and Donald Trump is not just personal, but a reflection of deeper systemic power struggles. As Musk hints at potential ties to Epstein, the implications for both their legacies are profound. Stay informed, stay engaged, and don't let the truth be obscured by the drama.